Dante, finally, with respect to the study findings, so female investors are a rising segment of investors. In fact, 45% of those who began investing in the last 12 months were in fact female. There's some big differences between male and female investors in terms of investment decision making and the engagement and education preferences, for example. Now, Dante, you've been vocal in relation to the female financial literacy and savings and superannuation gaps. Could you touch upon what's been happening in that space and what's being done to close those gaps from a financial advice perspective?
Yeah, look, it's definitely an area of great attention for I think for all of Australia, and definitely something we're very interested in. Arguably, there's probably not enough being done. I think definitely a lot more needs to be done here, and I think there's an ongoing debate about how do we close the gap for females in respect to superannuation savings in particular. I think we haven't got those policy settings right, and there's still some more work to be done there. But your point about female investors, I mean, the interest. One of the things that we've picked up on through our experience here is that the interest from female investors is so high. Our own education that we do with the public, we have a website called Money and Life, which is predominantly used by female investors. So it's females that want to empower themselves, females who want to obtain the knowledge and understanding, and are more likely to want to obtain knowledge and understanding before making an informed decision, unlike us men who believe we know everything and are happy to make decisions without the true facts. And so that's what we're seeing. And so, there's been a lot more awareness and training going on in terms of understanding, just in general, human behavior regarding investing, but in particular, female investors. And so many of our, education content is around trying to educate members around that lens as well, but also just in terms of how to better engage with females and with women in general, in terms of, as I said, mainly the education side of things, mainly empowering them and just really trying to grow their confidence in terms of taking the next steps and taking the right steps in terms of their situation. I think the other area, of course, that we've seen that I think we're really conscious of the fact is that women are not only disadvantaged in terms of their earning capacity, but also depending on their personal circumstances, obviously with children and being the carers in the family. But of course, they're obviously the greater number of them are on the recipient of breakups and potential, domestic violence scenarios in which they are very much in a worse off financial starting position, and to be able to build that up, is really important and really something we need to work harder in terms of resolving, and how we can support women to be able to do that, and what opportunities we can provide them. So look, it's an ongoing issue for us. One of the things that we're looking at is, of course, how do we encourage more women to not only become better at investing and taking care of themselves financially, but empowering them also to enter this space and become trained and qualified financial planners themselves, because we find that they are very good and are exceptional in this as an occupation, and we feel that it's such a great flexible work environment as well, that many more women should think about entering this as a profession. And that's something that we're, one of the areas that we can control, of course, is perhaps this, in terms of trying to encourage more women to come into this space, and not only empower them and become financially capable themselves, but then go on and teach other women, and have more women clients, and empower more Australian women to really grow and take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of them from a financial capacity.
Yeah, some great points there. I mean, and I mentioned before that we run a couple of different investor events every year, and we often have female financial advisors, and they are some great role models out there. So if anybody's interested in pursuing that, feel free to have a look through the ASX YouTube channel, and you'll see some great presentations and some great talks from female advisors there.